playoff pictures are so crazy. I've not talked to you in so long, Tom Telesco. Chargers, Raiders, GM, 33 years of experience in front of me in front offices in the NFL. You're a Super Bowl champion. You're doing your thing on SiriusXM NFL Radio. How are you enjoying the media side of the biz?
Who would have thought that this is where I would end up, 33 years later? But it's been great. It keeps me engaged with the game and all 32 teams. And when you've worked in the NFL as long as I have, it's it's all I know. It's all that I've done. And you got to fill the void some way, somehow. So I try to fill it, through doing some SiriusXM NFL Radio and helped out at the local high school with the football team there and just trying to stay engaged in football. This is what I love to do.
How very Phillip Rivers of you. We love to see it. I would love to just get from your perspective, you're watching all of these games play out. And I like that it's really every team in the league. When you're thinking, what do I want to talk about? What is the story of the day to Tom Telesco after yesterday's action?
It's got to be Jacksonville. I guess I am, part of the media now, and I wasn't a believer in September and October. But as I've watched it progress through the season, how could you not be a believer right now in what they're doing? And it's been super impressive. And with Liam Cohen, with what he's done, but they have a lot of talent on that team. And I think what people forget, like Trent Baalke left a good amount of talent there. So they had some players there. Then they made some shrewd moves in the, even during this season with the Jacoby Myers trade, which made a ton of sense with where Trevor Lawrence was. And also, their receiver coach at Jacksonville was Edgar Bennett. He was our receiver coach with the Raiders, so he was with Jacoby Myers for more than a couple years. So I'm sure he was pushing for that trade as well. But just to see them play, to go into Denver, Trevor Lawrence is playing consistent football, which has been the issue with him. There's been highs and there's been lows, and Liam Cohen has kind of evened that out because he's a super talented player. But just to watch what they've done. And another thing, too, is people forget, too, Travis Hunter got hurt early this year. Yeah. He's going to be a big part of their offense.
There's
but
a huge story. The biggest story
huge
with
storyline.
him.
But this is the benefit, though. So Parker Washington is a stud. He's an outstanding player, and this gives him more targets, more throws. He had a big game yesterday. I think if you've watched Jacksonville all year, you can see how good a player he is. But no, they're a fascinating story right now.
I want you to talk. Can you talk to me about the Trevor part of it? There's the roster. Trevor not turning the ball over. What is the lesson in that? Is it stick with your guy? Is it just finding the right? When I'm watching this game, what they were able to do to the Broncos, and what he was able to do to that defense, no one's been able to do. And they did it in Denver, of all places. Yeah. What's the lesson of the Trevor Lawrence of this all?
Well, I totally agree with the Denver part. To me, Denver's the best defense in the league, and they're doing it at Denver. But I think with Trevor Lawrence, it's just about confidence. And that's what you can see right now. Just he's decisive with his decisions. He's always been talented. He's big. He's strong. He has arm strength. He's very athletic. But there's a certain confidence level he's playing with right now, which he has shown in other years, but maybe not consistently over 16, 17, 18 weeks. But you're seeing that right now. And that's, new staff, different way to look at things, and things just start to hit. And he's got some good talent around him. Offensive line has been very underrated. The offensive line's played very well. And you're seeing a very confident quarterback right now.
Speaking of offensive lines playing pretty well, these Chargers, 4th straight win yesterday. What are your impressions? What's impressive about doing this without Slater, without Alt on this O-line?
Just a tremendous job. It's, Jim Harbaugh is like Curt Cignetti. He just wins. Wherever he goes, he just wins. And they've gotten better through the second half of the season. They always play well in the second half of games. The offensive line is doing a great job in the run game, which is a staple of how Jim Harbaugh wants to play. Omarion Hampton coming back gives him a really physical presence, and he's just an outstanding back. He plays fast. He's physical. And then Justin Herbert's Justin Herbert. Just give him enough time, he can go make these plays that we're watching right now. He's just tremendous. And then their defense has been outstanding and been consistent the last month or so with their pass defense. But, the offensive line, much maligned early in the year. Just trying to keep Justin, standing upright. But they've had a ton of injuries. They were on their 4th and 5th and 6th tackles at different points of the year. So it shows the depth they have on the offensive line to step in there. But, they've won 7 out of 8. You want to be playing your best ball right now, and they are.
You're giving credit to Jim and to whatever. I'm just going to give you credit here for a little bit, because a lot of what we're seeing with the Chargers, you're not going to say it, I will. It's your foundation that you built back in the 2023 draft class. I'm looking at, we've got Thule, QJ, Dayon, they've been elevating this team in many, many ways. I feel like, was this your vision? And did you scout the wide receiver tape of Dayon at Nevada as well?
Deion Henley was one of the more fun prospects to look at, and he really, thank God, like he fit our defense that we were playing at the time. Thank God when Jesse Minter came in, he still fit what they wanted to do because he's just an aggressive, fast, rangy player. But yeah, it's been fun to watch the Chargers. There's still so many players there from when I was there, when myself and the staff, was trying to build the deepest, strongest team we could. But to kind of see them now, seeing results of all these guys, seeing Derwin James play, with the enthusiasm that he plays with, and Justin Herbert, it's been fun to watch for myself, just because I know so many people there, just not only players-wise, but staff and front office and ownership. So just a really exciting team to watch.
What was Dayon's pre-draft interview like?
I mean, I can't remember specifically, but I can tell you this: it was high energy, upbeat.
He's a star.
When you're looking, when you're in the, third round, fourth round, you're just looking for different traits to stand out. And with him, it was just his amazing speed, range, and aggressiveness. And every time you put the tape on, you see him just flashing across the screen and hitting people. When we can do something with that. And then he just kind of fits the modern age of playing linebacker in this league. And he has such great leadership skills. And as he gets older, with him and Derwin James in that defense, those are two guys you want leading your defense. And then Thule, who's more on the quiet side, but a big-time player. But those are great building blocks.
I want to talk about Miami, because this is a very up your alley, fascinating, I imagine, case study, and what are they going to do, and which doors are they going to open and close. I mean, it might be the most intriguing offseason team. The new GM has to figure out what to do with Tua. Do you trade him? Do you cut him? What is the best way, or what are you thinking about in kind of navigating that situation?
Well, look, it all depends on who the head coach or who the GM is. Champ Kelly is the interim GM right now. Champ was with the Raiders with me. Champ is really, really bright. He's been in the league a long time. He's got a lot of experience. But it depends, who's there and what their vision is for the team. Tua's had his ups and downs. It hasn't all been bad. But the way the team was constructed going into the year, they just don't have enough talent right now. And then they had some injuries, and Tyreek Hill goes out, and things started to snowball a little bit. But it's going to take a lot of work there. But again, it just depends, who the head coach, who the GM is. And Mike McDaniel's did some really good things there, and he's kept the team going this year when things got real tough and got real hard. So I guess we'll go see the direction they go. With that position at that quarterback, with that contract, look, the Broncos have shown that it is possible, if you did want to move on from him, that we can do it. Now, it won't be easy, but there's some things you can do just to move on from that, and you start new, and you start. Now, the problem is if he's not your quarterback, who's your quarterback? Because this year, the draft is a bit light, and we'll see who ends up declaring for the draft, but the draft is a bit light, and free agency is not that strong. So I think what we're going to have more teams that need quarterbacks than there are actually quarterbacks available. So it's going to be a game of musical chairs. So they're going to have to compare, Tua with Mike McDaniel or Tua with whoever there versus who could we get. And that's going to be a big part of the offseason.
It could be like a Denver Russell Wilson-y situation.
Absolutely.
Is working out for Denver, so it depends on who you put it. Do you know Mike McDaniel at all? That'd be fun to see you two together.
I don't. I've talked with him a couple of times at league meetings. Super sharp. But like I said, they've got an interim GM. Right. I worked with Champ Kelly for a year. Champ is really, really qualified for that job, and I'm sure he'll get a chance to interview for it. And we'll see what happens there. I
think you should have a chance to interview. What's going on? We getting back in? You have attractive landing spots? What's going on, Tom?
I've been just enjoying helping people, like helping high school players kind of decide what level of college they're going to play at and find the right school for them, and working with some college players right now as they get ready for the draft process, and then, maybe consult with some teams on their team building process. But I don't know, this is completely new for me to try and figure out what's next in my career. I'm too young to retire, Kay, and I don't know if I'm a media person through and through. It's been fun to do. But we'll see. We'll kind of see what happens. I
think it's a very cool thing that you're doing. I also think it's really needed in our media space. Not many GMs are doing what you do, and it's important work. It's fascinating work, but it's here a long time from now. You're not circulating your resume. We're gonna set some, I'll see you at Super Bowl, I'm sure. I do want to ask you, because Schefter was reporting that back in 2020 with this Miami thing, that they offered Cincy 4 first-round picks for the #1 selection in the draft. You're nodding. That got me just thinking, what is the biggest haul you have ever offered or were offered?
Well, I know when I was with the Raiders, I mean, we were in the quarterback business, and there were some quarterbacks up high in the draft that we liked, obviously. But the problem is in the draft, and the same thing with Cincinnati when they took Burrow, if you're picking high in the draft and you don't have a franchise quarterback, and there's a franchise quarterback available, you could offer a team 10 first-round picks, and they shouldn't take it. Like, you have to take the quarterback if you have that opportunity. So, those type of things. I did not know. That was the COVID draft, by the way, when we were drafting from our houses. And I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what was going to happen in the draft in front of us. Because, Phillip Rivers, we did not re-sign. Phillip ended up going to the Colts. And we were in the quarterback business. And
Jaden Daniels business, I'm guessing? Like, I'm trying to think.
Oh, no, I'm going back to...
Oh, way back.
To
Okay, got it. We're talking...
Yeah, the Justin Herbert draft.
There's another one for your resume. You drafted Justin Herbert. Go on.
But just trying to figure out what's going to happen in front of us, who could trade in front of us.
Got it. Sorry.
I did so much work on that, but I never once thought or even heard that Miami could trade up trying to get Joe Burrow. But then again, like I said, there was just no way that Bengals are going to trade with anybody if you have a chance to get a franchise quarterback. And nobody's guaranteed, but Joe Burrow was pretty close to that. But it was the same thing with the Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels and Drake May draft. I mean, you've got 3 teams in the top 3 that don't have a quarterback. You couldn't give me enough if I was one of those teams to move down and not take one of those guys. So, that's just the nature of team building right there.
How proud are you of Justin Herbert? You got his jersey in there. You drafted him. A lot of talk about him. All people love picking him apart. How much of like a victory lap are you taking on your couch on Sunday watching these games?
It's funny. The draft is we just pick everybody apart and forget that there's just no perfect prospects. There's not, and everybody has their holes, and you got to figure out what could be improved and what can't. And I know with Justin, between our scouting staff, Anthony Lynn at the time, he had all the boxes checked that we were looking for as far as not just the size and arm strength, but we wanted a quarterback that was mobile and could move and go pick up some yards with his feet if he had to, but then had the leadership skills. Everybody leads in a different way. Justin leads by example, just his toughness and the way he is around the players and his work ethic and character. He's a special person, not only just a special player, and he's just, that's why those guys around him play so hard for him, because of the type of guy that he is. It's
amazing. You mentioned Joe Burrow. What a interesting situation that is. The draft happened. You're saying there's no perfect prospect. I would say you're wrong, and it's Joe Burrow. I think he's quite a perfect player. But there's been some sound bites, little cryptic. People are picking it apart, whatever. He, of course, reassured everyone he just wants to play ball. He just wants to win. If you are that unique front office in Cincinnati, who I know and love, how do you show Joe a commitment to winning?
Good question. And I think, they have. It just doesn't mean that every decision you make is going to work. But with Joe, everybody complains in the media that players aren't honest enough. They don't give, really introspective answers. Well, he was very honest with the media. This is an emotional game. It's a very difficult and challenging game to play, and it's even more so when you're hurt and you're coming back from an injury. He has such a great passion for the game, and he wants to win. And he's probably just frustrated they're not where, he wants them to be. It's going to take some time to get there, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They're just, the last couple of years, they've lost some talent and aren't playing as well on that side, and it forces their offense to go score 30 points a game, which is hard to do. But I think they've made commitments there. They spent a lot of money on offense. They spent a lot of money at receiver. They spent some money at tight end. They went out. The offensive line acquisitions haven't always hit, but they've worked on it. So it's not like they've gone to Joe Burrow and say, hey, look, we're not going to bring in resources. They've spent plenty of money on offense. So I don't think there's any complaints there. They have to get the defense up and running. But, this year with him missing so much time, and it kind of put them in a hole. They'll get back after it next year. But their offense is still going to be strong next year. They've got a lot of talent on that side of the ball.
Just a couple more for you. This is there's 8 questions on every team in the NFL. Please come back. You are so incredible, and everybody can listen to you on SiriusXM. Don't say that, because I will bother you. Tom, the Chiefs. Brett Veach has got to figure it out. People want Andy's job. People want this, want that. Now you've got a quarterback who's running a week later after having his ACL surgery. What is in your eyes, what is the first step to tweaking, doing whatever you need to do to keep this dynasty alive?
You know, it's funny. I was a GM in the AFC West for 12 years. Okay, the end of the Peyton Manning era and then the whole Patrick Mahomes era. And is it a coincidence, or is this my bad luck that the one time they have their down year is the one time I'm not in the AFC West anymore? I'm sitting here in front of a microphone. But no, I think defensively, I think they have a ton of pieces and they're going to be fine on defense. But on offense, like you said, it's going to be a little bit of a retooling process. They've always had some issues at both tackle spots, but they've had enough around Patrick Mahomes to kind of mask it and kind of get by with it. And they drafted Josh Simmons in the first round. He had his ups and downs. In the end, he'll be fine. He's a young rookie tackle, but he'll be fine in the end. But they're going to have to try and solidify the other side of the offensive line. Patrick Mahomes took a ton of hits this year. And at running back, they haven't had a true game-breaking running back since probably Jamal Charles way back. So I'm sure they'll be looking at running back, and then at receiver. I mean, 3 of their top 4 receivers are 175 pounds or less. So unless they're making big plays, big explosive speed plays down the field, which they just weren't this year. A lot of it was short to intermediate, and those guys get beat up between the numbers, and that kind of showed, especially in the Chargers game. They got to add some more size on the outside there, and then Travis Kelce is their number 1 receiver, who may be retiring. So they're going to have some work to do on offense this year, just to kind of bring in a new set of weapons. Brett Veach has shown he can do that. He's outstanding at what he does and working with Andy. So, but I think defensively they're going to be fine next year, but offensively you're going to see probably a new team.
I have to ask you about Daniel Jones. Such a bummer. Hated seeing it. Want him to get paid. If you're in Ballard's camp, or if you're just like, I guess even in a vacuum, how comfortable would you be giving DJ an extension coming off an Achilles?
Well, it's tough because they almost have to at this point. I mean, they've kind of leveraged it by trading trading 2 number 1 draft picks for Sauce Gardner, thinking, hey, Daniel Jones is going to be our future quarterback. So I think that's the boat that they're in. Now, the good thing is, I think the relationship between Shane Steichen and Daniel Jones is outstanding. I think they both see the game very similarly. They both have the same passion for the X's and O's. So I think they feel like, this is just me from the outside. This is not talking to anybody there, even though I know a lot of people there. But I think they feel like he's their guy. Now you just got to figure out contract-wise what works best for the team, for their cap, and for Daniel Jones. I think Daniel's shown he can play and play at a high level in that offense. Now they're really talented. They have a really underrated offensive line that is excellent, and they've got Jonathan Taylor, and they've got receivers and tight ends. So, but Daniel Jones was a great fit for them.
I know.
Obviously, coming off the Achilles, plenty of players have come back from that. He's a quarterback. He's not a corner. He's not a receiver, so that helps. But you got to figure out the right contract.
Really well said. Such great insights. You can catch more with Tom, his analysis, his insight over on SiriusXM NFL Radio. Happy holidays to you, and see you soon, I'm sure, because I'm going to bother you. Thank you so much.
Great talking to you.
Tom Telesco, amazing. Love those jerseys in the background. Happy for the Chargers, and we need to get him back